Hi, I'm Kristen Mashburn, and I'm here today with my friend Matt Thieleman, and we are going to talk about a subject that is been on my mind lately,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm asking the question. I'm going to ask you first to
It's
see
your
what your
question.
answer is. Um, is there such a thing as liking your employees too much or feeling too much for your employees? What do you think?
Well, I think you just switched up the question on me because when you told me before we hopped on, you asked, is there such a thing as caring too much about your
Yeah,
employees?
well, I mean the same thing, like caring
Yeah.
too much, liking too much. Yeah.
Well, so I'm going to be super coachy here and say that I think there's a difference between all those. Because when you first asked the question, I thought, well, there's probably a distinction here between caring and caretaking. And that might
Yeah.
be the issue that we're running into. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
my guess is it's easy to get into caretaking, which is I'm going to make sure that you never have a bad experience. I'm going to make sure you're
Mhm.
always comfortable. Um, I'm going to try to preemptively sort of solve any problems or obstacles you might run into. And
Mhm.
I want to generally make sure you're not in any sort of pain. And that kind of can go into caretaking for me. And that's not the job of a leader, I don't think. And to me, that's
Yeah.
distinctly separate from caring about, right? Caring
Yeah,
for,
yeah, yeah.
do I love you? And as a leader, do I love you enough that I'm going to allow you to be in discomfort, that I'm going to allow you to grow, and I'm going to allow you to create your own answers? So to me, those are two very different
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I think what I'm seeing lately when I'm talking to people is I see this stress that they're in.
things.
And by that, what I mean is these leaders that feel that they want everyone in their organization to be happy. And when I say everyone, I mean every single person, not just a general happiness with their teams. And they feel this, connection to those people,
Yeah.
and it's a struggle for them. So that's kind of what I'm leaning into. Maybe not somebody who's, say, giving them an apartment to live in or anything like not going to that caretaking level,
Yeah.
but enough to where it's really kind of bogging them down, because they feel so strongly about their role as a leader and wanting them to have a good experience as an employee.
Yeah, yeah, and I totally feel that, and I get it, and I've experienced the same. I think it's really popular now as we talk about leadership as love and service, servant leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And my invitation to those leaders is take a look on your side at where you're unable to be with discomfort yourself. So an example might be someone who thinks it's never okay to be angry, or it's never okay for an upset to be created when people are making a
Yeah.
decision. When I have found that it's impossible to eliminate anger, and it's impossible to make sure that no one is upset. The responsibility of a leader is to hold space and allow for all that to be okay and still make sure that people are growing together in the middle of that. So my response
Yeah,
to that
for
leader is take a
sure.
look at is where am I not okay with people being in pain, and what can I do on my side of the fence to
Hmm.
kind of be with that.
Yeah, I think this idea of having, some boundaries
Mm,
about sort of, what your responsibility is as a leader, that can be really tough, especially when you're managing or, leading multiple people, people who are sort of founders of companies or CEOs or those kinds of things and have hundreds of people reporting to them. And they want to be that certain servant leader, they want to be the person who sort of the open door policy where any employee can,
yeah.
come to them with an issue, and it sort of wrecks them, thinking about those individual employees instead of like looking at the whole, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There's like an empathy burnout, right? It's too much. That's
Yes.
where I think it can get in the portion of caretaking. I mean, that's where I would start to look at that distinction. And I would understand also life isn't always happy. I want everyone to be happy as much as possible. And when we're
Mhm.
growing and we're creating new things in the world, it's going to be scary and uncomfortable because of that
Yeah.
fact. So, happiness, like I don't think of happiness as like a removal of all sort of discomfort. I think of it like, am I
Yeah.
striving towards my purpose and like achieving growth in that?
Yeah, no, I really relate to that. There was a client that I was working with recently that had like that. being discomfort or being uncomfortable or
Yeah.
discomfort in general was sort of like part of their culture. Like they wanted that in their
Yeah.
culture. And I think that somebody who's, really kind of understanding their boundaries.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
so like definitely applaud them for just being able to say that and being upfront about that to begin with, because I think that's something, if you have the employees' expectations clear, that I expect that you will feel uncomfortable sometimes. It makes it so much easier as a leader when those moments come to be able to, handle that emotionally yourself. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should probably wrap it up a
That's a
little bit.
great place to leave. I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is a fun topic. I feel like we kind of worked through some of my own issues.
You answered it.
Today. Yeah. Awesome. So we would love to hear from you guys. Do you think there's such thing as caring too much? Have you been in that situation where you felt like you've cared too much? Where do you draw the line? How do you draw the line? Love some feedback on that. Thanks.
Cool.
See ya.